Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with that.
I still can't get over how creeped up that is. Gives me like an anxiety attack every time you show it to me. It's so fast. It's so good. Oh, whew. All right. Hello. This is Munchies with Max. Hey, I am Coach Max Fit, Maximilian. We are actually Max Fit USA, CrossFit Costa Mesa, and my boy Mikey wins on the ones and twos. Ooh, I feel like I gotta get. Nope, that's creepy. I gotta make one of these. Yeah, that's what's gonna go down now. I need a woo. So then I can be like, what was that?
What if you did one that was like da 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 dang 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 dang?
I'm into that. I'm into that. I get canceled, but I'm into that for sure. I used to actually have on my Vita microbus, I had an actual like a numbers key, and it had a bullhorn that I attached, and it was in the glove compartment. So you open the glove compartment, you pulled out this like key thing, and the key, like you hit in like 99 asterisk, and it would be like dun 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 dun. And it was loud enough that you could hear it in the car in front. It was a huge bullhorn, and it had that dun 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 dun. And I'd be just jamming through town, playing all kinds of those type of tones. It was good. What was another one, dude? It was so good. Yeah, it had that one. And the best part about it was it didn't have a key when we bought it, or when I bought it. So then when we, like everybody, the friends would be driving in the Volkswagen microbus, we would just start learning them, and then like you'd have a key.
Oh, got it. Yeah. I was like, the key to the glove compartment? How'd you get it out?
It was so many tunes. It was crazy. So this week is taper week. And so one thing that I really like about taper week is this realization that I'm going to actually do a little bit of work through a period of time, and then I'm going to either increase my volume and intensity, and then I'm going to increase or I'm going to increase just my intensity, keep my volume down. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff, and we'll talk about that. But Joe, hey, how would you say his last name? I always want to say Farrell, but I'm going to say Joe Friel. Joe Friel. Could be right or wrong. Author of the Cyclist Training Bible, phenomenal book. If you have not read it or checked it out, whether you're into cycling or not, it is a great read for specifically anaerobic and aerobic conditioning. This book, he states inside there, he says, if you do taper, if you do the taper right, your fitness will decrease slightly. This is a concept that is very difficult for endurance athletes, which I see in a lot of athletes, like fighters. I see that in CrossFitters. I see that in weightlifters. This idea of a soft taper before a competition, and then a longer taper or an end of season taper to allow your body to recuperate and then get yourself back into some type of order, right? And when we talk about this idea of tapering, you do diminish your fitness just a hair in order to allow your body to recover. So if we look at this idea of tapering, it is based off of the assumption that training increases fitness levels and fatigue levels simultaneously decrease, right? And I like it. Whenever I write it or I go and read stuff on it, it says the assumption, right? There isn't a lot of exact data on it. There has been some done on it, and the best research that has been done on it, they find that decreasing volume and increasing intensity is almost the best type of taper to ensure a performance increase. But as you train harder, you get fitter, which increases your performance. And if we look at that, and the harder you train, that's going to come through intensity and volume. Then at the same time, if you are increasing the training volume or intensity, you are also increasing the fatigue, right? So this simultaneous effect that's happening to your body is almost like a catch-22, because you want to overload it, but you don't want to overload it too much. And then you can get into the argument of, if you're a novice lifter or a novice athlete, overloading the body early is not necessary. Actually, it decreases performance and development. And I somewhat believe in that, and understanding what the volume is early versus the volume is later. And then at the very end, it starts to diminish as well. And playing that along the line of intensity. So as I taper and I diminish volume intensity, I can do other things too. I can actually take away a training day. I could take away a training session. I could also take away the length of the training session. So if I normally train 1 hour in the morning, 2 hours in the middle of the day, and then a half hour at night, I could technically take away the first session and the night session, keep the middle session just as hard for 5 days. And then I'm going to actually get a soft taper, or what I would call a soft taper, because my body is going to get a boost in fatigue because I'm not actually there as long and I'm not training as much, and the volume isn't as great and the intensity in those sessions aren't there. So I'm allowing my body to recover. But when I do that, I could also just take a day out. So if I train 5 days a week, I could suddenly train just 3 days in 1 week. Leading up to a competition is a little different, because you want to taper, but not in the effect where in a CrossFit situation where you're doing multiple days of it, you might actually get yourself too sore, or like a fighter. And they were the ones that really taught me this, is that when they would go into fighting or go into a fight, they would always be always beat up. And Vitor, for some reason, always had black eyes and shit. And I was always like, why would you do this to yourself? Why would you go into a fight like with your face already kind of mangled? Wouldn't you want it fresh? And he would say that the most important thing for him was that his face was almost like in shape, because if it wasn't in shape, when it got hit the first time, you're like, oh, whoa, hello. And that made complete sense to me when he said that. And from then on, I really looked at the way we taper into something in the same way. We have to be able to taper, but still be in shape, but allow for that diminish fitness for that short amount of time to not really hurt what our performance is going to be for the competition. Now, for general population or in cycles of training, right? If your peak season's in August and you're in the middle of December, you probably can go through 3 months, 4 months of training before you really need a really good 1 to 2 week type of tapering or time off. Same thing inside of, we run mostly a 3-week cycle. Even if we run a 6 or a 12-week cycle completely about like any type of emphasis, inside there, we always have a week off every 3rd week. And then it just depends on where we're at in the season, if we're actually trying to ramp up, or the hardest week is the first week and then they get easier. So we use the weeks to taper too. I mean, there's just so many ways to do it. And I think a lot of people just don't do it. They don't understand why it should happen. And I always tell my athletes and my members, it should almost give you the hunger. And the hunger is this wanting to do more, wanting to clean up your diet, wanting to train more, wanting to train harder, wanting to come in with a better attitude to train. So you start wanting more and you start appreciating more when you get those things kind of, ironically taken away, right? But it's not. It's the ability to give yourself the time out of there and rest. So tapering gives you those things. And then there's basically 3 ways that you can do this. And the research shows that if you decrease volume and increase intensity, that's going to be your best bang for your buck. Then if you increase volume and increase intensity, that's basically an overload. So it's not okay. It's not okay. I do believe in an overload program and your ability to understand your moment of overtraining or with overreaching, if you will. And at that moment, understanding that your recovery needs to go up, the tapering needs to go up, this ability to handle this volume and intensity over and over again needs to figure out a way to meet it. And it could be random too, right? So we just went through a phase where we were cranking it up, and then we had to almost kind of downplay it for a little while a couple months ago, and then we cranked it back up, and it worked out really well for us. It worked out really, really well right when we went back to the ground with the snatches and the clean and jerks. So I was pretty pumped on that. Then the last one is to increase volume and decrease intensity. And this one was okay, and it got poo-pooed. And I find that the higher volume will create more of an aerobic type of an athlete or an aerobic setting. So the ability to split stuff up, or the amount of volume that's happening if it has a purpose inside that training session, and then understanding that you're not trying to go 100% intensity. You're just trying to put in work. You're just doing the work, if you will. And if you go into it with that mentality, you're actually going to do really well. But if you go into a high volume and you're like really not understanding why the intensity there isn't there, or the ability to hit a very high number isn't there, then it's just going to eat you up, even though it's doing you very good for your fitness level or your strengths. It's going to just mentally just get at you. So remember, you can also add rest, cut sessions, decrease volume, and always try to decrease volume and increase intensity. All right. Taper. I can go on and on about that. I always feel like I'm just going to babble. And then Mikey's going to hit me with a tag at the bottom. Says, what's it? I'm still laughing. That's so good. You're all over. I'm like, no, that's your cue. Yeah.
Stop changing so much.
Stop changing so much.
Changing.
It's your cue. Okay. And I think today the question is, how do I get rid of belly fat, I think. And then I was like, oh man, not a good day to have the snack. Okay. My snack today. I haven't had Oreos. Did I have JoJo's? I don't. Right? We didn't have JoJo's.
You never had JoJo's.
So Oreo cookie. Oh shoot! This is what we were talking about yesterday with the satisfaction. 3 cookies is 1 serving.
You're not going to stop at 3 cookies. I'm not going to stop. That's my favorite cookie of all time. I don't stop at 3 cookies. I'll end up eating one sleep.
160 calories. Oh, I'll wake up. If I only eat 3 cookies and put this in the cabinet, an hour from now, I'll come back downstairs and eat for sure. For sure. Okay. So 3 of them. Unacceptable. The fact that you can only eat 3 of them, or the fact that I'm eating Oreos. I feel like it.
Slippery slope. We're going down that slippery slope.
What?
We had Wheat Thins, and now all of a sudden we have Oreos. Which one's unacceptable, though, Rachel?
Yeah,
the fact that we're eating Oreos, or the fact that he only gets 3?
I would say that's more unacceptable. It only has 1 gram of protein. It has a positive side, 134 milligrams of sodium, 7 grams of fat, and then 14 grams of sugar, 25. The 3 rules, 5. For Oreo, I know I'm already at 1 serving right now and haven't even explained the caloric intake. Total sugars, 14 grams, 25 grams of carbohydrates. Are you someone who peels it apart and then like eats? Like, do you still eat it like a kid? or do you just like how I do it, just stick the whole thing in your mouth? Do you take out all that and then have the chocolate cookie? But now you can just buy the thins.
No, I just eat the cookie like it is. Keep it together, bite it in half. Enjoy my 3 pieces. Yeah, turn it into 6. Trick your mind.
But like it fits perfectly.
Yeah, but then you're gonna go through your 3 cookies so fast. You trick your mind to me thinking like, oh, I had 6 cookies.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit 320, 130 or 320 calories and 6 cookies. I'm sad.
Rachel says I would never judge you, Snackaholics Anonymous.
It's right here. This is it. Hashtag. All right. Mikey, while I eat another 3 cookies, bring my total up to, oh man, I'm gonna have to do cardio tomorrow morning.
I did cardio today. I rode for 20 minutes.
Oh.
Missed 5K by 200 meters.
Ooh.
It's kind of bummed. I was actually mad when I got off. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I just fell asleep when you started, huh?
Started off too slow.
Happened. All right. Today's workout was tough.
I liked it. It was kind of fun. Well, that's the general consensus I got from everybody in the morning. They really liked the workout. Everybody was getting around 10 to 11 rounds. So if you guys don't know what the workout was today, if you just joined us tonight for Munchies, it was a 20-minute AMRAP of 5 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 10 kettlebell strict presses, and then right into 15 kettlebell swings. And there were a couple of cool tricks that you could do. You could do the instead of putting down the kettlebell, you can kind of just do the chest pass where you take it from one wrist and bounce it over the other. And then from your last kettlebell press, you can actually take it and then swing at the top. So just kind of grab a piece of the handlebar and then just swing down and then readjust on the second swing. But average today was for men was about 9.5 rounds, about 10.5. And then for the ladies, for prescribed, you're looking at around 9 rounds and then 10.5 on the modified side. So leading the pack on the men's side, Jeff Steele hitting it with 11 rounds and 8 kettlebell swings. So 7 shy of 12 rounds there. Jesse Starnes hitting that 16 kilo with 11 rounds, 5 chest bars, and 2 kettlebell presses. Purcern, 10 rounds. What did he do? Oh, he did the 24 kilo, 10 rounds, 5 chest bar pull-ups, 305. You got me on that one. And then our boy Daniel with 9 rounds there. On the ladies' side, we have Emily with 9 rounds and 9 kettlebell swings. Ashley Pratt from 7 o'clock, 9 rounds and 5 chest-to-bar pull-ups. Alma with 9 rounds there. 2 chest-to-bar pull-ups were RX, so took it slow, engaged every pull and push. And then G rounded out the rest of the ladies here with 8 rounds, 5 chest-to-bar pull-ups. And then Kelly going RX here. Kind of proud of her for that one. Was able to RX chest-to-bar for once. All singles, got 6 rounds, ended with 1 chest-to-bar in the 7th. It was actually a pretty fun workout.
Yeah, I like the staging. I always like the staging. And so even though we have to work out outside and manipulate the pull-ups, I've always really enjoyed the staging. Did we get an RX Plus? On Beyond the Whiteboard? Or only RX?
No, it was just RX, and they changed the weight. Purcern did RX Plus, and then the other boys did it too.
Oh, Nathan?
Nate here with 9 rounds.
Yeah,
and that was it.
What do these guys do? Rich.
Rich with 10 rounds. He did 16 kilos. Oh, he did ring rows instead of chest to bars. As Mario, he did the 12 kilo. I don't know why he did. Why did he do 12 kilos?
I was rich. I was rich. That made my evening. That made my evening. Thank you, Richard. I love you forever. Forever. Oh man.
That's too funny.
Poor guy probably started realizing it was going to be a run and press workout. Got jumped right on out of that. I guess he goaded Jillian to using 16 kilos too. I feel like
she pushed her to the RX Plus.
Yeah, double dirty play. He went to a 12 and then he pushed her to a 16. Was like, clearly it's 16 today for you. Oh man. So good.
Too good.
So the ask Coach Max question. Ask Coach Max, how can I lose my belly fat? Well, don't buy Oreos for one. It's
the midnight snacking show.
Let's just start with don't try to host a midnight snacking show, and don't start with Oreos. But outside of that, you got a lot of good opportunity. The first thing that I would tell people is exercise vigorously will always help with more bang for your buck. So burning more calories for less amount of time. We like to warm up and use the metabolic rate through the whole 60 minutes or 70 minutes sometimes. That's something that we kind of do, and only up to like 45 minutes with the warm up and everything. So that's for our gym. But the reality of it is that if you can do something with a 20-minute warm up and something 20-minute intensely 5 days a week, that's a great start for exercising. Also, if you could do moderate or lower intensity, so doing some type of conditioning or sled drag, let's say, biking, jogging, walking. I mean, it would work, but you're going to have to get your heart rate up to at least a base of, I would assume, somewhere around 135 and up, which is like recovery, and then up to 155, 165 is actually starting to get to work. But somewhere around 30 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day will work just fine 5 days a week. So now you're exercising vigorously 4 days a week for 20 minutes. You're doing moderate conditioning for 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. And then at the same time, you are resting once or twice a week. And then you're ensuring that you're doing some weight training 3 to 5 days a week. That would be my first priority to losing my belly fat. Then my second one would be obviously a diet. Diets, it doesn't really matter what diet you use. And I hate to say that. But the reality of it is that if you do any type of negative, caloric negative, carb negative, fat deprived, you name it, restriction, you're going to lose weight. And when you start to lose weight, the first place you lose weight is predominantly your belly. If you were to look at what you should eat, there's really no magic food that's going to burn fat off your belly, but you could do things that would help your metabolism. And I got a few things here that I wrote down that are fairly easy to do for the beginner, and also to those that are trying that maybe haven't added these in. So eating fiber, I have never been one that really adds fiber. I just make sure I have a lot of fibrous food, a lot of fibrous food. And then avoid trans fats. Don't drink too much. And that's when I really want to really cut a lot of my belly fat. I cut all my drinking out, as well as if I allow myself to do it, I only do it once a week, and I allow myself only a small amount of volume. Doesn't matter if it's liquor, doesn't matter if it's beer. Liquor has sugar at some point, and then beer has, or wine has, an amount of volume that you're going to drink that you want to stay away from. So It's like that century, one shot for an hour. We did the math, right? 60 ounces, and how many ounces are in a pound, and blah, 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 blah. So you can assume that you're going to gain weight from drinking a few beers, and you don't want that. So cut the drinking out, eat high protein diet. Be careful of how high you crank it up right away. And I get it, because a lot of people like this kind of plant-based dieting right now. And I think that it does very good for the digestive system, and it allows for you. No, tequila doesn't work either. Trust me. I traveled with a lot of people that always said that they were doing the paleo, and that's why they did tequila. It's still sugar. So you still have to only have an X amount. So maybe two shots. I mean, 2 shots a night is kind of like a whoa. I would say maybe 4. But
Go from 2 to 4.
oh,
Just doubled in a second there. What happened?
That's like having 1 serving or 4 servings, Michael. So you're gonna have 1 shot of tequila, and you're gonna be like, or like a drink, and you're like, all right, and then you're 4 in. You're 4, like, for sure. And then that's about the break, right? So that's the downside to it. The beer is almost the same way. If you drink 5, oof, that's a lot of, that's 50 ounces of beer, right? Somewhere plus. So
60 ounces of beer. So you end up gaining 4 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, no way. Just a little bit of liquid. Eat probiotic foods or take the supplement. That's something that I feel like a lot of us don't do. And it was a fad not too long ago. It was a buzzword. And I think that a lot of us have moved away from it, and we need to focus on good culture. Don't eat sugary foods. Don't use cooking oils. Use coconut oil to cook with. Cut carbs, refined specifically, from your diet. Eat fatty fish at least 2 to 3 times a week. I can only really get it in 2 times a week, but those that can get it in 3 times a week tend to really, really lean out very, very well. Same thing with like chicken breasts, staying away from like wings and thighs. And then also too, and I'm someone that really likes meat to spike hormonal growth at night. So making sure that I eat 16 to 24 ounces of beef, but the amount of calories that it has into it, you have to be careful, and the amount of fat. So be aware of that. But eat fatty fish and add apple cider vinegar to your diet. That's another one that I feel like we don't really use enough of. That's very good for our digestive system. Also, too, warm water with lemon in it in the morning and at night will really help with that. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, no, that's just kind of folklore. I've seen great results with it, whether it's a mental thing that sets you up, whether it primes the pump to get the food going. One way or another, it helps. But the apple cider is the real deal. All right. Number 3, get good sleep and less stress. I love it. I love it when I tell people like, hey, dude, you can lose weight by having less stress. And I remember one of my clients one time told me, hey, the last time I didn't stress was probably the first time I went to school. So, and I was like, all right, fair enough. And that's like kindergarten, right? So how do I get rid of stress? How do I increase sleep? You really don't need to sleep more than 5 to 8 hours. You could get away with sleeping 5 hours, 3 to 4 times a week, and then sleeping 8+ hours, 2 to 3 times a week, and then kind of alternating them. If you can get a nap and you're training very, very intensely, getting a nap for 20 to 60 minutes is very, very important. And that could happen 1 to 3 times a week. Let your body tell you when you need that. Build a nighttime routine that allows you to understand that you're going to sleep, that you're setting that time, and you're going to put that time aside. One of the biggest problems I had was I didn't think that just actually laying down throughout the day was that important. As I learned that, hey, whenever I can get resting my body, not just hanging out, resting is super important. That recovery time will help you out. And if you guys have a Whoop or you've eyeballed that kind of stuff through your fitness watches, you can actually see that any rest will really start to compile your recovery. So use that, and then kind of minimizing your stress through your idea of increasing your sleep and your rest will actually get you not to feel that anxiousness, making sure that maybe I have to journal AM and PM like we talked recently, and then working on my breathing and my meditation will always help to do that. And then again, like what we talked about yesterday, is always controlling my environments internally and externally will help me to alleviate a lot of my stress. So as long as I create the chatter and I don't really kind of nag at myself and I don't bring negative thoughts, I can really control my stress internally to an extent. And then same thing with externally, understanding that I'm not going to let a lot of the distractions, especially right now, and all the negative stuff that's happening, or just a lot of the imploding that's happening, just really understanding that this too will pass. And I know that's really easy to say, but it will, and it's life. So we just got to do it. All right. We're going to talk about tomorrow's workout. Oh, I'm excited about tomorrow's workout. Mikey, hit him. I'm going to eat another 3.
You're still going to be on screen, though.
Damn it. All this talk about getting good sleep.
So, guys, if you know what this one is, we did it last month. It's called Chief, not Chef, not the one where we accidentally had to do like push presses or something like that.
No, dip.
But it dips. Yeah, that's right, dips.
That was a typo a long time ago, and then we've also done the Chief meets the chef.
Dips into power cleans or push-ups. So, I mean, if you guys haven't done this one before, it is a burner, and it's one where if there's built-in rest, you all know that you have to work hard and you have to push hard and try to keep that same rep or the same amount of rounds that you got in that first round all the way through. So if you got 3 or 4, you got to hang on for 3 or 4 rounds in those 3-minute AMRAPs. It is fast, so it's 3 power cleans. So you don't want to pick a weight that you have to do singles. It's 3 quick power cleans. So for myself, it'd either be 115 or 135, depending on how I feel and how my lower back feels from all the kettlebell swings we did today, and then quick 6 push-ups, and then air squats. And air squats really focus on, guys, we've been doing those tempo squats for a while, so just work on getting depth, making sure your positioning is clean, because if you work through and do the form right, you'll get through the squats a lot faster. And then you have 1 minute rest after every round. Get 60 seconds to breathe, and then right back into it.
So this is six rounds. The 80th percentile looks like 25 rounds. 25.
So they're looking at 5 rounds every round.
Every round. Yeah, that's the 80th percentile, and then 6 plus, almost 7 is a 99 percentile.
I think I got 19 this last time we did it.
Oof. That's a tough one. But
that hurt, though.
5 plus is the point.
Yeah.
So, and then at the higher level, 6 plus is the point. And then I feel like if you get really good at, obviously, the last push-up turns into your hop-up from a burpee in that squatted position and allows for you to just squat, pretty much stand and squat. No set of the feet will allow you to really move well. And then the power cleans. Yeah, this one's a doozy, because even doing singles really slow it down. Really slow it down.
I think you made us hold the 3. We had to pick a weight where we had to hold the 3.
Yeah, the only time I've seen people doing the 6s, 6 plus, and getting it like on the regular was basically holding on to it. Because if you're dropping it, it's still going to take you 15 seconds. Whereas if you're holding on to it, it's 10 seconds. It's going to start, 10 to 9 seconds. So that's an extra 6 seconds per round. in the course of 6 rounds. It's a total of how many? 30. It's almost a full round of touch and go versus dropping it. So, and then I don't know. The push-ups is the one that this suddenly turns into a push-up workout. This is one of those that sometimes if you guys suffer, like with me right now, I know my push-ups are really tired. So I'll probably end up splitting those from the beginning, 3 and 3, dropping the knee, but hopefully holding on to everything as much as you can. You could even play with that too. That's something that I might do tomorrow, is just do everything obviously unbroken and then see what that takes me per round. So if I have to rest longer, obviously with the push-up, I won't have to, and the air squats, I won't. But if the transitions start to have to be long, they really shouldn't. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Just seeing, because we saw some couple members, like even Christian coached at noon, and he got, I think it was David was doing for some reason singles on the 5 pull-ups. So that's why I like the small number. You could really goat people into doing something unbroken. You know, you can be like, hey, you know, let's try to do like 2 and 3, I think is what he told them, or 2, 2 and 1. And the next round he was like 2 and 3. And then he was up there and he's like, I don't really care to get down. Next thing you know, he's doing 5s, and he was butterflying it first time, doing 5 butterflies chest to bar. And sometimes that's kind of the best type of coaching, right? It's like, just like, oh yeah, just try to do a couple more, you know? And people just don't realize that that's what that setup is for. So same thing with this. The chief kind of focused on that.
I mean, also depending on what class you're going to go, you're also going to have to deal with the heat.
Yeah. We got lucky this morning. We got lucky at 10:30. It was still overcast. It was nice. It was
not burning hot.
Afternoon. It was torch. I don't know about 4. I couldn't make it back. Sorry, did you show up? You probably left now. But I'm wondering, did you come? I have some tequila. Speaking of tequila, I have some at the gym. So the next time I see you, to have a drink with you, comrade. So just so you know, the chief though, the chief is something though. I was gonna give some props out today. Tomorrow, I want to do it mostly too because of where it sits in our program. But I do want to say thank you to all those that have given us service or have brought us any type of any type of work for us. And I should have actually included my teachers too inside this list. So like Liz and Aaron, I apologize. And then if anybody else I forget, I probably should have. I do apologize. But I do want to start off by saying thank you to Ryan L. For, I do believe he was a chief petty officer. So I do want to say that. And then I want to say thank you to David K. And then a lot of those that have come through our doors, like J Flo, Mario, Sean, Big Will, Steven, Kizo, Stephen P, James D, Bazooka, Greg, and any others that I've forgotten or that I cannot say tonight. I do appreciate anything you guys have done for us. And I just really love all of the kids, and I call everybody a kid. I called Robert. Robert should be on that list too. Oh man, Robert. I called him a kid the other day, and he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like one of my oldest members. Well, he's not the oldest, but he's up there. And I was like, "You're all my kids. You're all my responsibilities. Get your butt in here." And then I want to say thank you to my police, my fire, and my Coast Guard. I want to say thank you to Heather, and I want to say thank you to David. I want to say thank you to Rob. I want to say thank you to Jeff. I know I give you a lot of shit, buddy, but thank you. I want to say thank you to Jason, Russ, my boy Russ, Lou, love you, man, Madison, Chelsea, and then also my boy J Flag. It's been a long time. Thank you. And then Trevor, I appreciate everything you guys do. So the chief tomorrow, not only will it be in remembering the fallen, it will also be for remembering those that have been through our doors and have all been a part of the program one way or another. So pretty excited about it. I don't know why I felt that way, but I felt like tomorrow was that day. All right. Wednesday. And in closing, let me get over here. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So, learning to let go. Stop blaming others. This is very hard. This is hard for me. This is hard for all of us. To blame others, we always find a way to blame others for our misfortunes. We find a way to feel, and we find a way to feel where we're always being victimized by others or other injustices. And when I think about this, I'm always kind of that. And I always say that the Mormonts have this kind of blame game sometimes. And you have to realize that you got to be willing to let that go, because in the reality of it, waiting for somebody else to come to you and repair the harm they've done is ridiculous, because one, you don't know when they're going to be ready, if they ever will be ready. And that's really not fair to them, nor it's fair to you. So while this may be true that there has been harm to you and the people have harmed you, or you're in a bad spot and your blame is correct, I would tell you, and this is something that I tell myself, focus on the new goal, focus on the energy, and move towards it. Move your mindset towards it, move your physical actions towards it, move everything towards that positive goal and that mindset of not allowing yourself to make that blame game. And it's easy. And it's, if it pops up, just learn to squash it, learn to move away from it. Don't let it fester. Don't keep building it up and being like, yeah, because you'll be your own hype man. So be very, very careful. Move away from any of that negative thought. And sure as not, all the blame that you have will minimize. And then your feeling of accomplishment and the drive that you'll get from that and letting go of the stress and the baggage that you have will be so great that it will allow you for freedom to do other things. So stop the blame. That's all I would tell you. So do what you do with that. Thank you. Thank you, Mikey. I love you. Love you guys. Whew, man. I love our new format. I love it. I'm into it. It just seems like one giant rant.
I mean, you could take it that way. Speaking of which, we didn't do a rant today.
Nah, I was like, well, we had so much other stuff to talk about. I guess my rant was the shout out, if I was gonna give it.
Yeah.
Because we do positive rants, and then basically, I guess saying tomorrow is the day of remembering anybody that's come through our doors.
Oh man, I thought we decided Wednesdays were going to be like the political rants.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We can't do that on a Remembrance Day. That's
tomorrow. I mean, last week I wrote down so much mean shit. I just shut down Munchies for the rest of the week. I was like, hey, no way. We're gonna I do think we work out. So we're doing a little chat powwow.